So, Swamiji, I would very much appreciate if you can answer me a few questions. And the first one would be how you became interested in yoga.
You mean the spiritual life?
Yes, well, actually spiritual life.
Because in India, yoga means the asanas, generally. Now, of course, it is much more than asanas. I think it may be a kind of a samskara, because from my childhood I have been influenced by religious people, religious societies, that is to say in the home, brought up by an Orthodox Hindu family, accustomed to worship and meditation. So even as a child, I used to gather flowers for my grandfather's worship. Then he taught me many hymns on spiritual life. Then came the period when I got a book on the lives of great saints of India, which I read with a lot of relish, because it was a period when I had some condition which was not good, because mother died, and so in the house there was a kind of sad feeling, and this book which she used to read fell into my hands, and so I read with a lot of interest. I can even now imagine the days I passed reading those books. Then she was fond of Upanishads, and so though I did not understand much, I remember what all the Upanishads I read. That was at the time I was only 12 years old. And then it came to a period when I met a gentleman who gave me a mantra to repeat, so I followed him. Then, after finishing my university studies, when I happened to find a vacation time searching for a book to read, my friend gave me books of Swami Vivekananda. That fixed my life. That reading of Vivekananda fixed my life. Then I happened to read about Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna satisfied many of my religious questions. But I did not know Ramakrishna mission was existing at that time. It was 1931. So I had no idea whether there was a Ramakrishna organization, but finding the book of Vivekananda published in a certain place, I wrote to that people. It was a book in 1919, Swami Vivekananda in 1902. I was reading in 1931. So I wrote, is there anything called Ramakrishna organization started with Vivekananda? Then I began the correspondence for years and years. That is how it all came up.
Mm-hmm. So, after so many years of being spent in a spiritual life, can you tell me, actually, in short, what is mind?
Mind? How can I explain mind? Mind is a thought faculty which, according to the Indians, it is one, and according to the West, something else, I think. According to them, you know about Patanjali's description, and Chitta and Manas and Buddhi and Ahankara and so on. It is one of those, all these things together, we may call it Antakarana, which is also a word sufficiently broadcast by the yoga schools.
Is our mind, intelligent by itself, or is it actually a reflection of any other intelligence?
It's all, I'm just repeating what all I can remember of the books I read. Manas, if you take it, antakarana, I shall rather use antakarana because that is a better word, which has so many functions. One of the functions is to receive sense impressions, and another is which discriminates between what is what, buddhi, and then one faculty which remembers, keeps all this information brought and keeps in with it, and then always the I consciousness behind. So all this together is antakarana.
Mm-hmm. And when does the mind and thoughts
No, where does
when does or do the mind and thoughts manifest for the first time in a human being?
I don't know. It may be perhaps in a very rudiment form, even before the child is born. I am telling these things because I have heard from the modern people as well as the Indian books. As soon as the child perhaps before its body takes certain shape, it begins to become aware. But of course nothing is remembered. But perhaps when you can go back down, you can go far, far beneath you in your ordinary consciousness and know many things. I wanted to tell you one point in this context. I told you the child mind mental functions start even before it's born. In the Indian story, in the Purana, in the Bhagavata Purana, there is a story of a boy called Prahlada. You have heard about him, Prahlada?
Yes, I have heard a little bit.
Prahlada was not born. This was Narada, a great saint. He used to come to this house and talk with his mother about Vishnu and devotion and so on. And so this child heard all these things, and so it became impressed with the devotional nature. Then now comes the modern story. A child, a boy, he was found somewhat disturbed. So he was sent to a hospital, psychiatric hospital. Why is this child disturbed? And the doctor found there was something before his birth. I do not remember the details, but this is a fact. I can get all the information necessary if I want. And then one day, before he was born, his mother was quarreling with somebody and he was saying something. And these words had affected the child. And so the whole thing was taken. I don't know how this information has got. The mother was called and played the whatever happened. She was so surprised how this boy knew what happened at home. So I am convinced now, before the birth, even then already the faculties are there. But of course, sense faculties do not function because he can't see anything. But the ears are something go on getting all this recording.
Uh-huh. And how could we know when the universe manifests for the first time?
How can we know?
That this, universe we live in manifests for the first time. How?
You see, For the Hindus with their peculiar mentality, there is no first and last. It is infinite, no beginning, no end. It begins only at the kalpa as a manifested thing. And the end of the kalpa is taken back. It's like projection and absorption. Brahman, from Brahman it begins to manifest like breathing in and breathing out. That is how this eternal thing going on. But don't ask me the date. I have no date information. Of course they say the kalpa. I do not know. Only I know the kalpa in which we are living now is called Sweta Varaha Kalpa. There are so many kalpas. These are all the books. If you want, we can find out all these.
By kalpas you mean yugas or...
Yugas taken together, many yugas taken together. But how many yugas make a kalpa, I cannot tell. Because I do not use this thing in my talks. Once when I had to talk, I consulted. Now I don't remember.
Does also the world or the universe exist outside, or is it a product or projection of our minds? Because as you know,
yes, I know.
Some people say,
yes, Vedantis say it's all your own projection. The whole world, what you see, it's all from your own mind. And then when I happen to read about the holograms, and then I suddenly felt, this is why they are talking about the whole mind, mental projection.
So, according to your view, what happens after one, let's say, dies? I mean by this that as we identify so much with our physical body and with our mind, of course we are afraid of dying, physically speaking. But actually, what happens after death? I mean physical death.
Physical death, there is this Jivatman, as it's called, Atman plus intelligence, mind, karma, 5 things which go with that. Intelligence, mind, karma, the powers behind this action and physical actions and mental actions. All these things form into a group. This all together goes and comes into a new body. This choice of a new body is often made according to a congenial atmosphere for the evolution of the jiva. It has to evolve more and more. The jiva finds itself completely free from every kind of detachment, from attachment. It becomes detached, so it has no more need to come. That is for the liberation. So every creature has to go through these experiences, and every experience, we may not be conscious, but anyhow, every experience has an influence of my future life and on me, not this with only me of ego, ordinary, but inside. So this person, he slowly evolves more and more, getting more and more detached from everything. If I say like a person growing from childhood to adult age, so our develops from the ordinary level to a higher level of realization.
But what I would also like to know is that in the so-called astral, world, I mean, once we die, let's say, so once we pass away, so what happens, let's say, in that another kind of consciousness, without any physical body, I mean, in the astral world?
I think consciousness is there without the physical body. They consider it exists.
Mm-hmm.
For there, it is not only Indian, but everywhere they have such kind of belief that something exists beside the physical body.
When we are born, we say that we always come to this, let's say, planet, but do we only evolve through a human birth, or do we evolve in different dimensions if we go through them?
I think, please tell me what do you mean by different dimensions?
Okay, for instance, if you take a birth, here, like a human body, it's a human body, so we come here just to evolve, just to go towards perfection, right? Yes. As if we take a human birth as we have it now, it supposes that we are here to learn and to evolve to a perfection.
Yes,
okay.
True.
So, is this the only place where we can evolve? Is it?
This is so. Because
No other place, no other
No.
dimension or whatever you want to call it?
No, but this is only on earth we can go. That is the Hindu's belief.
But does it mean then that this is the only planet in which we live? In which there is, life? If we evolve only on earth?
There is no mention of any Hindu book where they talk of life in another planet. There is no mention.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I have to say in this context, there is the belief in the books that a man, when he dies, he goes to Chandraloka, the world of the moon, and there he lives till he finishes for 1 year. First 10 or 12 days he is like a ghost. He is not there, not here. And it goes on for some time. For after 1 year, he joins his ancestors. And then he, according to his merits, he should go to Devaloka. But where is it? It's beyond this question I am only telling, except the moon, they have not talked about any other planet where people go.
Mm-hmm. What is the difference between brain and mind?
Brain and mind, they do not connect with mind with brain at all. Brain is only an instrument in this body, mind, and like eyes and eyesight. So eyes are there, but it must have something which comes to make the eyes function. The same way, the mind functions with the help of the brain. They did not, I don't remember to have read anywhere talking about the brain. Mind is said to be something outside the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be connected with the brain.
Is mind a thing, let's say, like a sort of subtle physical thing, or?
That's it. That's true.
Mm-hmm. What is your opinion about clarividence, clairaudience, and?
I don't. What is my opinion about?
Clarividence, Clairvoyance.
Yes, everybody can have it.
Clairaudience and telepathy and...
Yeah, it's only a faculty anybody can have. The more and more mind becomes detached from this outside world, it begins to see and hear many. Ours is obstructed because we have too much of this outside world. If I can stop functioning in this world, my mind begins to have a new thing. Nowadays they talk of the right side brain and left side brain. So much is talked about. I read about it all with lot of interest. So on the other day I was telling about this suggestiology and learning languages. That's also this right side brain we don't use. So when the mind function is too much of the outside world functions are stopped, this faculty is manifest. So, you see, that is the thing. We know so little of ourselves and so much is we have not touched them.
What is spiritual life?
This is my own answer, I cannot say everybody. The evolved, the path and the way to evolution. That is to say, I shall take this same thing which I was telling you, the mind too much active in the outside world has to stop. And it should be turned to the others. And then a man discovers he is much more than the ordinary man because he has so many things which belongs to him. So he goes to different levels of consciousness and the highest level of consciousness where there is no I. The mind is not functioning unless he wants it to function. It's very complete. First of all, he controls the mind, and then comes the stage where his mind does not exist. That is the Advaita philosophical statement, mano nasa, destruction of the mind.
And then I suppose that for destroying the mind, you need a method.
Yes.
To reach a goal, you need a method.
That's what I was trying to read. I have a book on Jivan Mukti. There he mentions it, but I have not very well understood what he was trying to drive at. But there's a chapter on the destruction of the mind. And the same thing is told by Ramana Maharshi also. Destruction of the mind, that is, mind functions are completely...
Those functions, I suppose, they stop through meditation.
It will come.
What is meditation then?
Meditation is the practice of controlling the mind. Controlling the mind more and more, there is no thought is coming. But mind is not... This, I have no definite answer to these things because I have not been occupying with these subjects much. And I have not that experience. I believe it is true, but I can only say I have a hypothetical belief, but not by practical personal experience. I have no personal experience of the destruction of the mind. No, I have not the direct experience of the destruction of the mind, nor even the control of the mind.
What are you most fond of? I mean, how do you feel, like being a philosopher? Like a spiritual philosopher, I mean, you know. You feel attracted towards the Advaita philosophy, towards the knowledge of the Upanishads? Or?
Yes, I'm attracted.
With
Advaita philosophy as the Upanishads give. Yes. But there are different stages of understanding, and I consider Advaita's knowledge is the last knowledge.
Advaita knowledge, is that? which is the greatest proclamation of those, let's say, Upanishads. Which is the biggest proclamation, the teaching, the highest teaching.
That's why Brahman is the ultimate truth, and that is we are. That is our true I.
Is everybody evolving towards perfection?
Absolutely, I am convinced we are all going towards that. Some takes me, like children going to school. Some go very fast, some go slow, but everybody will learn. It's not denied to anybody.
Nowadays in the West countries, we here speak so much about a word is very much used, like Tantra Yoga. What is your opinion about that?
Tantra, I don't know, as little as far as I understand, it is a complete mastery of our tendencies. Anger, fear, lust, at least these three things come to my mind. Attachment, aversion. This all which mind flows out, they are all controlled.
According to the scriptures, it seems to be, for instance, that sex or sexual life is really an obstacle and very difficult to overcome. What is your opinion about it?
I don't know where they said obstacle, but at least from little I understand, it leads to a kind of attachment, and some people find it difficult to come out of it. Evidently, it must have been a study made by some people to that extent, but I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's a crime or some sin. Because in course of time, a man will not find anything interesting, even sex life. Because if he gets a small glimpse of the spiritual taste, go away. Another thing I have to tell, there are two types of people, holy men or spiritual men. One who are renounced and one who have not renounced. One who have been householders, another who are monks and sannyasis. Both of them, in my opinion, equally were able to attain discipline. So the whole presentation becomes different now. Because a man who had a family, wife and children, if he has attained spiritual knowledge, that means it is nothing what he has done is wrong. And perhaps it's better in that way.
So yes. What is a guru? Who is a real teacher?
Who is he?
Who is a guru, or what is a guru? Who is a real teacher? So much confusion about that.
Yeah. Guru is a guide. He just shows you a spiritual path, and if you are lucky enough, you may get a teacher who had already gone and much advanced. But still, to understand the profoundness, the deepness of his knowledge is difficult for an ordinary person to understand. As I told, the sincerity is most important. If you are sincerely on the way to spiritual life, if you are really practicing that in all this, because we have to be with him for some time, perhaps a long time, to study his nature, how does he behave, how does he do these things. Is his life with a conviction of the value of spiritual? Whether he does this or that, I cannot say, but so much enough for me to begin with a teacher. If he is sincere and he believes it and has real interest in that, I can take him as a teacher.
And how is it that there is so much confusion, in all the religious leaders?
In all?
The religious leaders.
Yes, of course. I have seen these things what you are telling about. Finally, I have to see these things. I cannot avoid. I cannot say this is right and this is wrong. It is too difficult for me to say. I sometimes take refuge in Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna says, certainly even that is a way, otherwise the Lord, why did he allow it to continue? So, for example, somebody went and told him the Theosophical Society is sad. Theosophical Society is dealing with ghosts and phantoms. What do you think about it? Perhaps it may be a path. Otherwise, why should these people do it? Why should God allow these people to do it? So, the human beings are such a variety of types, and each needs some kind of direction. Perhaps for such people something is useful. And so everybody can choose. But everybody finally will meet in the evolution that will go on. That will come.
How many lives to reach it?
What does it matter? I don't know. It may be one life, I don't know, it may be 100 lives. What does it matter?
If there exists reincarnation, why don't we remember our past lives?
Oh, if you want, you can remember. Yes. Swami Vivekananda's words I am quoting. He says, if you can go backwards towards what your life was at 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, and you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. Suddenly, this line of thing goes to the other birth. Some people had it. We have enough proof to show that reincarnation and rebirth is a fact. Quite a lot of evidence has been collected. But of course, we may still put question. I cannot believe that's something else. But there have been, India, there have been many cases who told everything very correctly. So there is, that person died and born again. And if you want to remember, I have not, when I read anything, I immediately want to put it into practice. I tried, I did not go far. Perhaps some people may succeed in going far into the inner, deeper consciousness. At least if they can go to when they are 2 years old. Some people really remember when they are 2 years old. To me it's nothing, I don't remember. Even about 4 years, very, very vague. But I did not continue to go into that deeper levels. But they say it is possible. You see, now take the case of these people nowadays who are talking about their past life. I don't know whether you know it. After a certain age it becomes very easy, 6 or 7 years. Afterwards, it doesn't come anymore.
Can we know what is going to happen in the future? Can we say what is going to be in the future, what is going to happen from this present moment? I mean, people say so anyway.
Yeah, there are people who tell that. I have no idea. They say so, sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's not. Astrology says many things. People, I won't say astrology is a fake. I have from my own personal study and experience, I think it's not absolutely nonsense, there is something. And so, according to astrology, future things may be roughly predicted.
But I see, I mean by this that many people, they say that they visualize the future or what is going to happen the day after tomorrow or next year or whatever. You see what I mean? I mean that I say that many people, they say that they are able to visualize what is going to happen within a week time or 2 days or 1 month or whatever. And then it happens.
Did you ever hear about a man called Dunn? D.U. Dublin. And he wrote a book.
The one that he didn't speak since his childhood and...
No. J.B. Dunn, I think his name. He is now dead. He wrote 2 books, at least as far as I know. One book was about the time. Time, actual and future. He explains this thing, it's how it's possible. Our consciousness, which is in this level, goes to a higher level and sees more. Mm-hmm. That is how he explained. And of course, to me, what he has written is very reasonable, and of course, he proves it with his own some kind of experience. Mm-hmm. So it's possible.
Who is the master you admire more? Who is the master that you admire much more?
I don't know. I have not real. Of course, I like Ramakrishna. That I have no doubt about it, because among the people I have read so many lives, but he presents to me something at least agrees with my nature. Mm-hmm. That is perhaps why I find him as a really teacher.
Which is the story you like best?
Of whom?
I mean, the story you tell, very often you tell very many stories, so which one you like best? I mean, which is your favorite one?
That I cannot suddenly tell, I don't remember now.
Tell me a story.
Hmm?
Tell me a story, please.
See, there must be a context, otherwise stories do not come.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Which is the best meditation technique?
I think, I do not know the best, but the simplest is the visualization of an inspiring person. For example, somebody who has read Bhagavad Gita and life of Sri Krishna, they are very much attracted by him. They can think of him, have a picture of him, think of him with his picture as a great man. The same way for a Christian. When people come to me, I ask them, I said, I'm like Christ. It's natural, I said, go on, meditate on Christ. Of course, whatever the church might have told, I do not go to that. As a person, as his life showed, is something admirable. So take a picture of Jesus Christ and meditate upon that. Mm-hmm. You will get everything. Because these are all only techniques. The goal is something else. And so you touch the source of all this Gandhi, Jesus or Ramakrishna, Krishna or Shiva.
Mm-hmm. How to meditate? Let's suppose that you visualize some image of a deity of Jesus Christ or Ramakrishna or any other master.
Yes.
So which are the procedures to follow? Because there are a lot of confusion. People don't know what to do. Just think about it.
Think and feel. I consider thinking and feeling should go together. That is what when Jesus said, love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul. That is to say, complete, not only intellectually. Mm-hmm. You must be completely in that, so that you don't see anything, you don't hear anything. Mm-hmm. That absorbed with thought and feeling, that is meditation.
And you keep your mind, busy, concentrated, focused only on that image.
After some time, the image also is not necessary. There is a subtle undescribable impression in you, that's enough to continue, if you can continue in that way. I say if you go in this, here is a picture. When it comes very close to that, I don't have any picture. It has filled a whole vision. In that way, my mind is completely filled by that part of my chosen idea. And so it must come like going to sleep. It's not sleeping, but still for ordinary purposes it's like sleeping. The mind slowly, I don't know what I can say, it's no functioning. Of course, the impressions come and go. I may be hearing some sound, but it doesn't go very deep. I don't see, I close my eyes, so I controlled as far as I could my sense perceptions. I can tell, even if a little bit of this is done, the person will feel a lot of satisfaction and joy. It's not mechanical, it's wholehearted. I think in the Christian religion they call it a prayer. I think so. It's not asking for anything from anybody, simply going completely absorbed in the admiration, love and appreciation as something highest one wish one can think of.
What is your personal experience in meditation?
I cannot tell much. I feel very well after my meditation. That is the only way I can describe.
And what is a mantra?
Mantra is a sacred term which has got some potency, which has some power. And these mantras must have been repeated by somebody and meditated by somebody. If we cannot take a mantra from a book, it is not so powerful as receiving a mantra from a person who uses the mantra. It transmits some spiritual energy to his disciple. And so mantra is a sacred syllable. This makes me reminds me of the transcendental meditation groups and those people, what they do and what they talk, and they have found some this thing and that thing. It is not spiritual, in my opinion. They are all, I don't know what they want to do. They get some faculties manifested. But Indian tradition, there's a mantra as a bija. Mantra must have a bija, a germ sound, which is, I don't know who made them, how it came, but they are really speaking not only Om, with that something else also is added and which they repeat. Generally it is personal, they don't repeat it to anybody, it's personal. When a mantra is given to a student, he won't repeat it to anybody, he should not repeat it to anybody. Like putting a seed on the ground and covering it up. He won't try to show to people what seed he has planted all the time, then the seed will never grow. So put the ground seed in the ground, cover it up, water it, let it grow. So when you receive a mantra, take it as some seed has been planted in you. Water it by regular meditation, repetition, with concentration, and then it works. It will work.
It seems to be that the cause of our suffering in life are desires and attachment. How to control both of them, or how to overcome?
By analysis. Analyze anything. If we begin to analyze, strangely, it loses its attraction.
Well, I think that... Thank you, Swami. I think that's more than enough.
I answered as I understood. Many things I could answer because I don't know. I don't pretend I know everything. I can tell only what all I know.
Can you give me a short definition of what Raja Yoga is? a short definition of what Raja Yoga is?
What?
If you can give me a short definition of what is Raja Yoga.
Raja Yoga?
Yes.
I have been always wondering who invented this word Raja Yoga. There is no book before. Only first book I happened to read about in Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga. Before that there was nobody who wrote any book called Raja Yoga. Of course, in the Upanishads, some of them mentioned. In my opinion, Raja Yoga is intensely the Patanjali's, particularly the path of meditation, dhyana, dharana, samadhi. There, the whole thing comes to the final point of Raja Yoga. Because it leads you to the highest experience, it's called a Raja Yoga.
Mm-hmm. And what is your definition of Karma Yoga?
You working with the detachment, and if you add religion, working as if you are working for the Supreme. I told, and there is cosmic purpose. There is a cosmic purpose, and we are all sent here to this world to serve this cosmic purpose. We are all doing it, and the man who does it, who is consciously doing it, he is much better than other people because he is detached. He is not doing anything for himself. And so, if he is a religious man, I am doing this for God. He always thinks this I am doing for him. So he does it very attentively, consciously, with concentration. Karma Yoga is working with concentration, without any attachment. Swami Vivekananda said, Buddha was a great Karma Yogi.
To turn this on.